The Iron Wolves Motorcycle Club's bar was winding down for the night when the door opened at exactly midnight. Marcus, Bear Sullivan Club president, 6'6", 290 pounds of muscle, tattoos, and leather looked up from restocking the bar, and froze, because standing in his doorway, illuminated by the neon Budweiser sign, was a little girl. She couldn't have been more than 5 years old. Blonde hair in messy pigtails. Wearing Disney princess pajamas. Elsa and Anna, covered in dirt and grass stains. Barefoot. Her small feet were bleeding from running across gravel. Her face was streaked with tears and snot. Eyes red and swollen from crying. The entire bar went silent. 23 bikers, men who'd seen combat, done time, lived hard lives, all stared at this tiny, terrified child who'd just walked into their clubhouse at midnight. "Jesus Christ," whispered Tommy, wrench beside Bear. "Is that a kid?" Bear was already moving, coming around the bar slowly, carefully, like approaching a wounded animal. He knelt down to her level, making himself smaller, less scary. "Hey there, sweetheart," Bear said softly, his gravel voice surprisingly gentle. "What's your name?" The little girl hiccuped, wiping her nose with her sleeve. "Lily. Lily. That's a pretty name." "I'm Bear." "Are you lost, honey? Where's your mommy?" At the word, mommy, Lily's face crumpled and she started crying harder. But she didn't run away. Instead, she took 3 steps forward into the bar, looking around at all the big, scary-looking men in leather and chains and patches. "Mommy said." Lily's voice was so small. "Mommy said bikers protect people. She said if something bad happens, find the bikers. They'll help." Bear felt something crack in his chest. This little girl, barefoot, bleeding, terrified, had run through the night looking for them because her mother told her bikers would protect her. "Your mommy's right, sweetheart," Bear said, his voice thick. "We do protect people. Especially brave little girls. Can you tell me what happened?" "Ever." Lily looked around the bar again, her eyes scanning the faces. Then she pointed at Jake Diesel, the biggest, scariest-looking biker in the room. 6'7", covered in prison tattoos, shaved head, full beard, missing half an ear from a knife fight. "Him," Lily said. "Mommy said find the biggest, scariest one. They're the nicest." Jake's tough guy expression crumbled. He stood up slowly and walked over, this mountain of a man approaching a tiny child. He knelt beside Bear. "What do you need, little one?" Jake asked, his voice surprisingly soft. Lily took a shaky breath. "The bad man locked Mommy in the basement. She told me to run, to find help, but I can't call police because..." She started crying again. "Because he is police. Mommy said he'll lie. He'll say she's crazy. He'll take me and baby brother away." The temperature in the bar dropped 20 degrees. Every single biker's face went hard. "The bad man is a police officer?" Bear asked carefully. Lily nodded, tears streaming. "Officer Daniels. He's Mommy's boyfriend. He was nice at first, but then he got mean. Really mean. Tonight he was drinking, and he got so mad. He hit Mommy. Then he locked her in the basement with baby brother. He said if she screamed, he'd hurt the baby. Then he went upstairs. Mommy told me to climb out the little window. She said, run fast. Find bikers. Don't stop." Jake and Bear exchanged looks. A domestic violence situation, with a cop as the abuser, which meant calling 911 was complicated. The responding officers might be his friends, his colleagues. They might believe him over a hysterical woman and a child. "How far did you run, Lily?" Bear asked gently. "I don't know. Long time. My feet hurt." She looked down at her bloody feet. "I remembered the motorcycle place. Mommy drove past it once." She said, "Those are good men, Lily. Remember that. If you ever need help and can't call police, find bikers." So I ran here. She'd run nearly 2 miles. At night, barefoot, 5 years old, terrified, because her mother had taught her that bikers, the people society told her to fear, were the ones she could trust. Diego Smoke appeared with the first aid kit, carefully cleaning Lily's feet and bandaging them. Ruby, Red, the club's only female member, brought her a Coke and some crackers from the kitchen. "Lily, honey," Ruby said gently, sitting beside her. "What's your mommy's name?" "Sarah." "Sarah Mitchell. We live on Oakwood Drive, number 247. The white house with the broken fence." Lily's voice got smaller. "Is baby brother okay?" He was crying. "He's only one. He gets scared." Bear pulled out his phone. "Tommy, Blade, hammer gear up. Ruby, stay with Lily. Rest of you, mount up. We're riding to 247 Oakwood Drive right now." "Bear," Diego said quietly, "if this guy's a cop, we gotta be smart. We can't just roll up 20 deep and break down his door. He'll call it assault, get us arrested, and that little girl's family is screwed." Bear nodded. He'd been thinking the same thing. "Here's what we do. Ruby stays here with Lily safe and protected. 6 of us ride to the house. We try knocking first, nice and polite. We say a little girl came to our bar confused and scared, gave us this address. We're just concerned citizens returning a lost child. And if he doesn't cooperate?" Jake asked, cracking his knuckles. Bear's smile was cold. "Then we stop being polite. But we do this smart. We record everything. Every word he says. Every threat. Every admission. We get that basement door open. We get Sarah and the baby out. We get evidence that'll hold up. Then we bury this bastard." Within 5 minutes, 6 iron wolves were on their bikes. Bear, Jake, Diego, Tommy, Marcus, and Cole. The rest stayed at the bar, protecting Lily, ready to move if needed. Before they left, Bear knelt down to Lily one more time. "Lily, sweetheart, we're going to get your mommy and your baby brother. I promise you. You were so brave. So brave. Your mommy is going to be so proud of you." Lily threw her small arms around Bear's neck and held on tight. "Please, don't let him hurt them. Please." "I won't," Bear said. And he meant it with every fiber of his being. The 6 motorcycles roared into the night, engines echoing through the quiet suburban streets. It was 12:27 a.m. They reached 247 Oakwood Drive in 8 minutes, a white house with a broken fence. Lights on inside. A patrol car in the driveway. Officer Daniels had no idea that 23 iron wolves had just become his worst nightmare. Because you don't hurt children and mothers. Not in this town. Not when the iron wolves are watching. Bear pulled out his phone, started the video recording, and walked up to the front door. Behind him, Jake and the others fanned out. This was going to end one of 2 ways. Either Officer Daniels opened that basement door peacefully, or the iron wolves would open it for him. And judging by the sound of a woman crying from somewhere inside the house, Bear suspected it would be the second option. He knocked on the door. 3 hard knocks that echoed like thunder. Time to bring Sarah and her baby home. The door opened. Officer Ryan Daniels stood there in his undershirt and jeans, off-duty weapon visible in his waistband. Mid-30s. Average build. The kind of guy who looked completely normal, which made him more dangerous. His eyes widened when he saw 6 massive bikers on his porch. "Can I help you?" Daniels asked, his hand instinctively moving toward his weapon. Bear held up his phone recording. "Evening, officer. Sorry to bother you so late. A little girl showed up at our clubhouse about 20 minutes ago. Blonde, about 5, wearing Disney pajamas. Said she lived at this address. She seemed pretty upset. We wanted to make sure everything's okay here." Daniels's face went through several expressions in rapid succession. Surprise, anger, fear, then forced calm. "Oh, yeah, that's my girlfriend's daughter. She must have sleepwalked out. Sarah's been worried sick. I was just about to call it in." His smile didn't reach his eyes. Thanks for bringing this to my attention. I'll handle it from here. Gross. Thing is, Jake rumbled from behind Bear. The little girl was pretty scared. Said something about her mom being locked somewhere. Made us concerned. We'd feel better if we could see Sarah. Just to make sure everyone's safe. Daniels's jaw tightened. I don't know what lies that kid told you. But Sarah's fine. She's sleeping, and I don't appreciate 6 bikers showing up at my house at midnight making accusations based on a confused child's story. Accusations? Bear's voice went cold. I didn't accuse you of anything, officer. I just said we'd like to see Sarah. If everything's fine, it'll take 2 minutes. Then we're gone. Get off my property. Now. Daniels's hand was on his weapon now. Or, I'll call this in as trespassing and threatening an officer. Diego stepped forward, phone also recording. Threatening? We knocked politely. Asked politely. Why so defensive, if everything's fine? From inside the house came a sound. Faint. A baby crying. Then a woman's voice muffled, desperate. Help. Please. Someone, help us. Daniels's face went white. Then, red. That's none of your business. Bear didn't wait. He pushed past Daniels into the house. Sarah! Where are you? The basement. Her voice was desperate, terrified. He locked us in. Please. Daniels grabbed Bear's arm. You just committed breaking and entering? Jake's massive hand closed around Daniels's wrist, removing it from Bear's arm. Touch him again and see what happens. Bear was already moving through the house, following the sound of crying. He found the basement door deadbolted from the outside. He threw the bolt and yanked the door open. The stairs led down into darkness. Bear turned on his phone's flashlight. Sarah Mitchell was at the bottom of the stairs, holding a screaming 1-year-old baby. She was 28 years old, pretty, but her face was a horror show. Black eye, split lip bleeding, bruises around her neck like handprints. Oh my God, Bear breathed. Tommy, get down here. He descended quickly, gently helping Sarah up the stairs. She was shaking so hard she could barely walk. The baby, a little boy, was red-faced from crying, reaching for his mother desperately. When they emerged into the living room, all 6 bikers saw the extent of the damage. Sarah's wrists had rope burns. Her feet were bare and dirty. She'd been locked in that basement for hours. Lily. Sarah sobbed. Where's Lily? Is she okay? I told her to run. She's safe, Bear said gently. She's at our clubhouse with Ruby. She was so brave, Sarah. She ran 2 miles barefoot to find us. She said you told her to find bikers if she ever needed help. Sarah collapsed against Bear, crying with relief. I did. I told her. Because I knew. I knew if I called police, they'd believe him over me. He's a cop. He has friends. They always believe each other. Daniels was watching this, his face cycling through panic. Sarah, tell them you're fine. Tell them this is a misunderstanding. Sarah looked at him with pure hatred. A misunderstanding? You beat me. You locked me in the basement with our baby. You said if I screamed, you'd throw Michael down the stairs. You said no one would believe me. That you'd have me declared unfit and take both my children. You're hysterical. I'm not hysterical, Sarah screamed. You've been hitting me for 4 months. Ever since I told you I wanted to leave. You said you'd kill me if I tried. You said cops protect cops and no one would believe a word I said. Diego had his phone out, recording everything. Jake had positioned himself between Daniels and the door. Tommy was checking Sarah and the baby for injuries. Officer Daniels, Bear said, his voice deadly calm. You got anything to say? Because right now, we've got video of you blocking us from entering when a woman and baby were locked in your basement. We've got Sarah's injuries. We've got her testimony. We've got Lily's story. And we've got you looking really, Really guilty. Daniels's face twisted with rage. You think you're going to ruin my career? My life? Over this lying bitch and her brat kids? I'm a decorated officer. I've got 15 years on the force. Who's going to believe bikers and some welfare mom over me? Actually, came a voice from the doorway. I will. Everyone turned. A woman in jeans and a badge stood there. Detective Lisa Morrison, 42, 20 years with the department. Head of the domestic violence unit. Diego called me on the way here, she explained. When he said we might have a cop involved in DV, I came running, and I've been standing here recording for the last 3 minutes. She held up her phone. Got your whole confession, Ryan. Especially the part where you called her a lying bitch and admitted she wanted to leave. Daniels looked like he'd been punched. Lisa, come on. You know me. I know 15 women filed complaints against you over the years that mysteriously disappeared. I know 3 of your ex-girlfriends had restraining orders. I know Internal Affairs has been watching you. Lisa's voice was ice. Ryan Daniels, you're under arrest for domestic violence, kidnapping, child endangerment, and assault. Turn around. Daniels tried to run. Jake caught him in 2 steps, slamming him against the wall with enough force to crack the drywall. 20 minutes later, Daniels was in Detective Morrison's car in handcuffs. Paramedics were checking Sarah and baby Michael. And Bear was on his phone with Ruby. Bring Lily home, he said quietly. Ruby arrived 10 minutes later with Lily, who ran screaming, Mommy, into Sarah's arms. The reunion was everything. Tears, relief, love, safety. Lily clung to her mother while holding baby Michael's hand, refusing to let go of either of them. You did it, baby. Sarah sobbed into Lily's hair. You were so brave. You saved us. Lily looked up at Bear, standing nearby. Sarah stood, still holding both children, and walked to Bear. You saved our lives. All of you. I don't know how to thank you. You don't have to, Bear said. But Ruby stepped forward. Actually, we had an idea. If you're interested. 3 months later, the Iron Wolves clubhouse hosted a party. Sarah and her kids had moved into a safe apartment, paid for by the club's emergency fund. Daniels was awaiting trial, suspended without pay. Looking at 15 years minimum. But tonight was about something else. Lily stood in the center of the clubhouse, wearing a tiny leather vest custom-made, with a special patch. Iron Wolves. Honorary Little Sister. Quote, Lily Mitchell, Bear announced, his voice booming. You showed more courage at 5 years old than most people show in a lifetime. You trusted when society told you not to. You ran toward danger to save your family. And you reminded all of us why we wear these patches to protect people who need protecting. The entire club stood and applauded. Lily grinned, gap-toothed and proud, wearing her vest like armor. Sarah stood beside Bear, tears streaming. My daughter has 23 big brothers now, and baby Michael has uncles who die for him. We're not alone anymore. Damn right you're not. Jake rumbled, ruffling Lily's hair. Your family now, because sometimes the people society tells you to fear are the ones who'll run into the darkness to save you. Sometimes, the scariest-looking warriors have the softest hearts, and sometimes all it takes is one brave little girl to remind an entire club why they ride. The Iron Wolves didn't just rescue a family that night, they became one.